Welcome to our coverage of ASUG Annual Conference in Sapphire Now 2014. We are live here in the ASUG News Studio, which is sponsored by NTT Data, and we're here. I'm delighted to be talking to Albert Peng from Apps Run the World. Albert, thanks for coming in, and we're going to talk about some cool cloud stuff today.
Thank you, Tom, for having me.
Tell us first about your impressions from yesterday of day one of the conference. There were some announcements from Bill McDermott up on stage. You've been at some of the events. What's your kind of one takeaway so far from this event?
Well, this is really a very interesting Sapphire, based on some of the announcements that SAP has made, and also the new direction that the company is going forward with. And I think that is still a work in progress, but we are seeing some good progress from SAP.
Absolutely. And so one of the big things is the cloud company powered by HANA. I'm sure, as you no doubt heard quite a few times.
Yes, indeed.
You've been doing some cool research on this. Can you talk a little bit about your approach to the research on the cloud market, and we can get into some of the things you're seeing?
Sure, I'll be happy to. The way we see the market right now is that it is really going through a paradigm shift. And unlike some of the things that we have been seeing over the past 10, 20 years or so, this is the real stuff. I think it's all has to do with the cascading effects of this internet revolution and mobile and stuff like that. And what we have been doing is that over the past 2 years, we have been tracking this cloud applications market very extensively, gathering data from almost like thousands of vendors out there, and we narrowed that down to a list of a top 500, and which will be become a report that we'll be releasing over the next few weeks.
So 500?
That's right.
That's kind of a lot. Oh,
it's tremendous. But then again, we are basically capturing the largest cloud applications vendors out there. And the fragmentation of the market is just tremendous. And we think that this is why SAP and all other technology vendors are really embracing the cloud in a big way.
Well, with 500 in the market there you're tracking, and SAP's embrace of cloud, is there some irrational exuberance, to use that word, that you're seeing in the marketplace, in the cloud market? Do you see that right now?
No, I don't really see that. The reason that I'm suggesting is that this is the real stuff, is that as you know, the internet has become so pervasive, not just in the workplace, but also at home. And when something like that happens, you really are talking about not just a mainstreaming of the internet, of cloud applications. We all use different cloud applications for our daily lives. And it is becoming the fabric of the society, so to speak. And when something like that is really impacting everybody's lives, this is the real stuff. This is not like something that's going to go away and wither away. So we are talking about a fundamental change in the way how people access information and how organizations are able to take advantage of that.
And we've seen, of course, SAP's evolution of this cloud. How do you look at that SAP's journey here on their cloud journey? How have they done so far? And are they at a strong point right now as a vendor? As they're claiming to be this cloud vendor, are they really? Do you think that's real, SAP?
Well, to put that into a better context, we believe right now SAP is entering probably one of the most pivotal periods, in its history, in its 42-year history. The reason I'm pointing that out is that if you look at the sales growth of the company over the past 42 years, it only declined, saw some kind of a sales drop in 2 years, 2003 and 2009. In both cases, it was due to the recession. And the first one was the contraction after the dot-com bust, and then the second one was the financial crisis. Last year, its sales grew 3.6%, which was the third worst performing period in its history. The reason? The license revenues have dropped. and also the maintenance revenues have also decelerated. So when something like that is happening, you got to ask yourself, what's happening?
Right.
Certainly, the cloud revolution is really changing the rules of the game, for SAP. So we are seeing that SAP is trying to catch up, through acquisitions and also through a lot of the product development efforts. But we think that it's going to take a long time, before SAP can really, regain its momentum in the software space, especially, competing with other cloud applications vendors.
Absolutely, and there's a lot at them. Do you want to look at a little bit of your research you want to share?
Well, the research that we've been seeing right now, as you can tell, we have been tracking these, vendors for the past, few years, and we are really seeing that the cloud subscription revenues have been growing steadily, and we are talking about 42% growth in 2012, and then it's going to grow up to, it grew to about $30 billion, in cloud revenues over in 2013. And when you're taking a look at this red bar here, from 10% of the market to almost like 30% of the market through the forecast period, at the same time, the on-premise application revenues are going to be shrinking. You're really talking about something really interesting is happening.
Absolutely. So for customers, for SAP customers, clearly it seems like it's going to be a hybrid environment for a lot of customers.
Right.
No one's just going to go completely to the cloud. I mean, there will be some, but
Yes.
what's the measured approach, or how should they start looking at the cloud market from your point of view?
Well, a couple of things are going to happen for SAP customers as well as the user at large. First, the cloud applications paradigm shift is here to stay. For a lot of these organizations, whether you're talking about multinationals or the small ones, you absolutely need to evaluate your applications landscape and determine which of these cloud applications you can take advantage right now. Because the sooner you get into this ball game, the better off you are down the road. You don't want to continue to be using some of the legacy systems that probably will not generate the type of returns that you're looking for.
Yep.
So pick and choose, and then lastly, you absolutely need to evaluate the competitive landscape to see some of the cloud applications products, not necessarily from SAP, will be able to supplement the stuff that SAP is providing. And I think you're going to have to do a very balanced approach in addressing the issue.
Well, Albert, thank you very much for coming in the studio. It was a pleasure to have you, and great to see you here again.
Thank you for having me, Tom.
Thank you for joining us. For more SAP customer stories, please go to asugnews.com.